Today when we think about the richest men in the world, we're quick to picture corporate bigwigs like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. Perhaps some of the smartest men of our time, who have an inconceivable amount of money. These are the sort of men who don't need to make YouTube videos in order to cover their rent. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is that despite the wealth generated by some of our most recognized businessmen, legends have it that none of them had as much money as one known as Mansa Musa. Details about Musa's early life have never been documented, but his earliest recorded appearance appears to be when he served as deputy to Abu Bakr II of the Mali Empire. The Mali Empire was known for its wealth and luxury, and dominated a portion of the West African region from the 13th to the 16th century. But sometime in 1312, the ruler Abu Bakr II went missing when he proclaimed he would be journeying to the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. When he didn't return, Musa was ushered in to fill his space, and what better time to be a leader of an empire when precious metals like gold were flourishing through the region. Musa wasn't idle as a leader either. He saw the empire grow in size as it began to encompass most of West Africa, filling areas from the Atlantic coast all the way to the inland trading hub of Timbuktu. Musa even saw his empire expand into the Saharan desert. It wouldn't be until 1324, more than 10 years after Musa's initial induction as emperor, did the outside world get a glimpse of how much money he actually had. As a devout Muslim, Musa would set off on a journey to Mecca, a holy pilgrimage known as a Hajj. But Musa wouldn't go by himself, and chose to bring with him a massive entourage that included tens of thousands of soldiers and slaves. Slaves who were clothed in Persian silk and carrying gold, might I add. No, Musa was not one to travel without style. Sources at the time say that his entourage stretched as far as the eye could see, and was a colourful mix of different social standings, all of them marching in unity with Musa. The image on screen is no real exaggeration, according to the accounts, that this is what his band of travellers may have actually looked like. The journey was no simple task either, which would span across 4,000 miles. The exact number of those travelling with Musa are unknown, though it would have had to have been a pretty large number, considering they were carrying hundreds of pounds of gold, which would require camels and horses to transport. Of course, such a grand spectacle was sure to arouse the attention of residents along the way, but one particular event on his journey that stands out is his stop at Cairo in Egypt. Musa was met by a consort of the ruler al-Malik al-Nasir. According to texts from ancient contemporaries, Musa was invited by the consort to meet with al-Nasir, but Musa was aware that upon meeting al-Nasir, he would have to kiss not only the ground, but also the hand of the fellow monarch. Therefore, Musa declined, explaining that he was only passing through Egypt, when in actuality, he just didn't want to bow before another man. However, contemporary accounts state that the real reason Musa didn't want to meet with their ruler became obvious to the people, and that they became agitated by his reluctance. Musa eventually conceded and greeted al-Nasir as was customary, and in exchange, al-Nasir offered lodging to Musa, as well as managing to accommodate his massive following. Musa seemed to enjoy Egypt greatly during his short stay. In fact, many describe him as being kind to the poor, going on to line the beggars with gold. He would purchase many foreign goods from poor vendors, sometimes offering them more money for his purchases than was necessary. The people were thrilled to be receiving gold as payment, and Musa was seen as a generous godsend, at least at first. Though his intentions may have been in the right place, Musa's gold would actually depreciate the value of gold in Egypt, and as a result, the economy took a major hit. It would take more than a decade for the economic well-being of the country to stabilize. But Musa's journey wasn't all about generosities. I mean, why do you think he brought all those soldiers with him? He would forcibly acquire the territory of Gal within the Songhai Kingdom, further extending his territory to the southern edge of the Saharan desert. After the completion of his Hajj, Musa would actually return to Gal and build one of several grand mosques. Another grand mosque was also built in Timbuktu, where Musa used his immense wealth to create schools, universities, libraries, and a range of mosques. He would be responsible for the Jingwerbea Mosque, a famed landmark built of mud brick and wood, which still stands today. Word of Musa's wealth and influence only spread beyond Africa after his trip to Mecca. Tales of his journey continue to be passed around long after his death, which is estimated to have taken place between 1332 and 1337. Even today, when we look back on Musa's life, many imagine the abundance of his wealth and try to quantify how much he may have actually had. Of course, this is virtually impossible to do due to the vastness of Musa's land and material holdings. Historian Rudolf Ware once said that there was only one way to come up with an idea as to how much Musa had based on his extravagant lifestyle and his willingness to cast gold at the poor. He said to imagine as much gold as you think a human being could possibly possess, and then double it. That's how much Musa Mansa had. As always guys, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments below who you'd like to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Until the next time guys.